this is Ilina and welcome to another LDRS creative card making video. For today's card, I will be using the Posy stamp set along with the coordinating dies and the coordinating layering stencils. So let's get started. I'm starting with the stencils and I'm using my stamp positioning tool, just the corner of it, to position my stencils. Also, they are engraved lines, so you can position the next layers. So I'm using a half sheet of A4 piece of paper, and once I stencil one side, I'll turn that paper around and I will go on the other side. So that's why I'm using that corner as a guide. And then at the end, once I'm done stenciling, I will stamp the image on top. So first I'm starting with Peachy Keen for the 1A layer, and I'm using a blending brush to add that color in. So this is kind of coral orange red color. So here I'm masking, so I didn't want that ink to go towards the other side, since I'll be using that corner to make the most of my piece of paper. So here I'm doing 4 of those, and I'll save the rest for another project. Here I'm just showing you 2, but at the same time I'm doing 2 additional, and I cut out that footage of the video so you're not bored of watching me ink blend all these layers. So once I'm done with the first layer, the 1A, I'm going to 2A. I'm not going to 1B, but I'm going to 2A, and I'm adding some Prickled Pear Perfection ink here using my ink blending brush. So for the next layer, I'm going to the 1B now, and I'm using the Kiss Me Red ink, which is red ink. And again, I'm using my my brush for red ink. So here on in the center of the poppies, with a smaller brush, I will add the coffee bean ink to make those centers darker. So either you can add that ink first in the centers of those 2 flowers, or you can add it once you have done the red one. It's completely up to you. I did both ways, and then I'm going over with the red ink to kind of make sure that those kind of have the lines. There are no harsh lines, so the lines are nice and blended in. So for this one, I'm starting with the centers. I'm adding that coffee bean color, and then I'm going for the Kiss Me Red. So you will see that the results are pretty much the same. Again, I'm masking on the edge there, so I don't have color going off the edge. And I'm adding a little bit more of that brown in the centers. Okay, next I am going with the 2B layer. This is the last layer. And I'm using olive branch. This is darker green. I'm kind of positioning here the stencil. I'm lining up those edged lines to line with the already stenciled flower underneath. So I'll turn it around, and you are able to quickly see that underneath I have another piece of cardstock that I have ink blended the same images. Okay, so we have all 4 layers. Now I'm using the printed acetate piece of the stamp set, and I layered it at the top of the ink blended image, and then on top I added my stamp, so this way I know I have that perfectly positioned. Next, I'm using the Raven Hybrid ink and the Stampendable tool to stamp over that. So since I used my stamp positioning tool to ink blend those, I can again line up that in the corner, and I can stamp all of those together. so without repositioning that stamp. So now that I have the Poppies stamped, I'm going for the sentiments. I'll be using only the Hello Lovely sentiment, but again, I wanted to make take the kind of make the most out of my paper, so I'm stamping all the sentiments. I'm gonna turn it around and then I'll move it a little bit down so I have that 3 times stamped. So now let's die cut everything and assemble our card. So I'm just gonna die cut one of the Poppies and one of the sentiments, and I'm using the Plaid background stamp that does not cut but just adds lines like Pear's line on the background. I think it was called Beautiful Plaid. I'll have all the supplies linked in the description of the video. So I'm just securing those, and by magic of YouTube I have everything die cut, and now I'm folding my card base. I use 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock, scored it in half, and I folded it. And next I have a piece of coral cardstock that was 4 by 5 1/4. That I run it through my die cutting machine to create that background. I just felt that the pierced lines that add a little bit more interest to that background. So I'm just using here one of the flowers and one of the sentiments, and I set the rest aside for another project. So next I'm adding dimension by stacking some pieces of scrap cardstock. You can use either foam tape or craft foam. It's completely up to you. I just like the weight and the sturdiness the stacked pieces of cardstock that they add to my card. I'm adding some foam tape on back of the sentiment, and I'll add foam squares on the back of the flower. I'm adding quite a bit here. I could have done foam tape. I think it would have been easier and quicker, but I just stuck with the foam squares. I'm removing the backing, and I will add to my panel like little offsetting it, and then I will trim the excess. So here I'm removing all the backing. There are quite a bit of the foam squares. So I'm going to offset a little bit here. So I'll trim that off. And next I will take that and I will add it on the other side to fill in that space. Okay, now we have 3 elements. One is the sentiment, one is the large flower, and then there's like the pieces of the leaves that we cut off. So I think it looks nice and balanced. So I'm adding a little bit more adhesive on the back of the foam tape. I like adding adhesive on the foam tape. It gives me a little bit more wiggle room instead of just being stuck right away in case I did not do a sentiment straight. So I can make sure that's nice and straight and I have a little bit of time to move it around. Next I'm adding some liquid adhesive on the back and I'm adding it to my top folding white note card. And that finishes our card for today. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and visit also our blog, LDRS Creative blog, for more projects and more inspiration, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Bye!